As an introduction, we like to acknowledge that our mission at Vose Library is to advance learning, inspire curiosity, enrich lives, and promote community. With that in mind, let me introduce our guest. You may have seen her on morning TV or read one of her best-selling books, including Keep This, Toss That, which we do have at Vose Library. Jamie Novak hosts her own 10-minute podcast and films a popular YouTube show. She spends most days presenting virtual programs on how to de-stress and declutter with a humorous twist. When not on the computer, Jamie is searching for a cure to her addiction of clipping out recipes she never prepares. Be sure to check out jamienovak.com to read the toss item of the day. And without further ado, help me welcome Jamie Novak. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you, Deborah. It's so great to be here. For everyone that's tuned in, you're definitely in the right program. If you cannot see the top of your kitchen table under all the piles of paper, your car doesn't quite fit in the garage, you have a walk-in clothes closet you haven't walked into in some time, you inherited things and have a sentimental streak, you possibly have children that moved out and left things behind, no one wants grandma's china, and you're wondering how to find your car keys in the entryway under all the shoes. So if any of that sounds familiar, you've definitely logged into the right program. So thankful to Deborah and the Vose Library for having me and for you taking time to spend it here with us this evening. I've brought some clutter from my very own home. I just walked around and picked it up, and I'll be sharing it with you on screen during our time together. At the end of our program, we'll have an opportunity for more of a Q&A, but please chime in the chat throughout with questions, comments, thoughts, and anything else you might like to share. So as we begin, I'm guessing I'm not alone with a pile of papers right over my shoulder. This is a pile of papers that tends to sit on a flat surface: countertop, tabletop, desk, ottoman, chair, floor, any flat surface. And you may be saying, but Jamie, your pile of papers is a little too small to be relatable. My pile of papers is a whole lot taller. Just know this is like the sample pile of papers. I have a real pile of papers over there. So if you're relating to the pile of papers that just continues to get added to paper after paper, then it gets so tall that the whole pile starts to slide. And you know, that's your cue. You're going to spend a weekend taking a tall pile of papers and making many small piles of paper to be read, to be shred, to be looked at, to be gone through, to be filed. Cannot file a thing because the filing cabinet, 4 drawers, chock full of important historical documents like the phone bill dating back to 1927. So we put the to be filed on top of the filing cabinet and we've made all these little piles. But now we need our table back for dinner. So we bring all the little piles back up into one pile again, and all we've done for a weekend is sort the same papers. And we keep seeing the same papers over and over again. So if you can relate to the pile of papers that looks a little something like this, there's a really good chance that maybe the last time you entertained, or the last time you had a housekeeper come, or the last time you got totally frustrated with all the clutter you could see, you did what I call the scoop and stuff. That's where you grab a brown shopping bag and you just slide all the clutter inside, and then we hide the shopping bag away. We might put it in a laundry room, under a bed. You may have it behind a screen so that you can join Zoom. And if you're a little short on space, just bring the couch away from the wall about this much, and you can drop the bag behind and no one's going to know a thing. And that's my insider tip for you. You're welcome. So if you've done the pile of papers in a bag or just miscellaneous things in a bag, I think we can all relate. You're definitely logged into the right program. If you thought, am I going to be the only one that logs onto a program about getting organized? And you realize, nope, there's 35 of us here tonight that are also struggling with piles of paper and so much more. I'm so glad you took a chance and tuned in. I hope we're going to have a few laughs this evening. I certainly understand if clutter for you or someone else is truly not a laughing matter anymore. And feel free to reach out to me privately offline, and I'd be happy to share resources with you. But for tonight, we're just going to forget our cares for a moment, have a few giggles about all the stuff, and I hope to provide really helpful resources and the inspiration to take action. So for the pile of papers, you know the one. It has a random envelope with a phone number, and I think we all know there's always a number, but there's never a, say it with me, a name. Never a name. I don't know why. I don't make the rules. Then, of course, there's all the restaurant takeout menus. You have 6, 7 from the same restaurant. It's your favorite restaurant. Anyone else have just a few of these? Just a few. And they just keep coming. And you never know when you're going to need another mango slicer or set of sheets. I think we don't need another set of sheets, but you don't know. So you want to hold on to them. I mean, it's basically money here. So we have all the coupons, and then you already know the secret's out, the recipes. I mean, this one looks so yummy if you're a chocolate fan. It is a bittersweet chocolate cake with berries. I pulled this out of a magazine, I'm embarrassed to admit, in 2007, February of 2007. This has been following me around my house, wanting me to make it since 2007. Listen, there's plenty of cookbooks. There's Googling. I can get all of my wonderful books from the Vose library about what to cook and all the cakes, right? There are recipes available elsewhere, but I might want to make it, so I should hold on to it just in case. And then, of course, there's probably going to be a few other things hanging out here, forms you need to fill out, maybe tax documents that are starting to arrive. And I don't know about you, but do you ever get a catalog? And it promises you, if you don't order, it'll be your last catalog. And then is it ever your last catalog? It's never the last catalog. They just keep coming. If you're trying to unsubscribe from catalogs, you can do it for free in one place, and that's catalogchoice.org. Catalogchoice.org. Just make an account. Their whole goal in life is to stop the wasteful printing of paper that no one wants. And so you can unsubscribe there. And the great thing is, if you unsubscribe from a catalog and then you regret having unsubscribed from the catalog, great news, you can resubscribe anytime. They will let you back in. So no worries there. And of course, there's all the magazines, all the tempting magazines where the cover is promising you, you don't know enough, not doing enough. Here's how you can do it better. And then we look at it and we're like, oh, I need to know that. And I need to know that. Again, I'll remind you, our wonderful library is available to read our magazines digitally. And then you don't have to have your own subscription. Try to feel bad about not reading it. Then you're tripping over the reading pile. It's a downward spiral. So for a lot of the papers that we do need to access, I would love to share with you what I use in my home and what I set my virtual clients with. And that is a desktop file box. So we're taking the pile of papers, we're grouping similar papers together, like all the coupons, all the notes from the wonderful series of programs that we're taking through our Vose library. So you have meeting minutes and notes and things right into a desktop file box. So I'll share with you what this might look like. It's a box and it holds hanging file folders. So it's super simple because what we're doing is taking the pile, grouping similar papers together, giving them a label and putting them in a file. And these are the papers you're reaching for probably every day. You're in here all the time because you are looking for the recycling schedule for town. You're looking for your notes that you took during our program tonight. You're looking for bills to be paid. You're looking for recipes. So I'm going to suggest to you that you take sticky notes. So we're going to take a sticky note and we're going to take the sticky part of the sticky note to the inside back of that file folder, and we've labeled it in seconds. I didn't need a label maker. I didn't need 8 batteries. I didn't need to decide, am I going to write in a script font or a block font when I make my label? No one cares. Let's just get a label on it so you can find the papers. So I can label this recipes I'll never prepare. And now as I clip them out, I have a place for them to go. When this file gets a little too thick, I can take the papers, put them in the kitchen, in the shoebox with all their other recipe friends, and everyone's happy. Are you receiving tax documents? Tax info, here it goes. Bills to be paid, another file folder. Maybe you have a doctor's appointment in 2 weeks, so you have a referral or a prescription. Where's that going? Instead of the pile of papers on the end of the counter, right in here, doctor's appointment, such and such a day, go into the appointment, take your papers, discard your tab, and make a new one. And you have another file to work with. So this is the idea that this is portable. You can take it with you around the house, and it's so simple to use, group similar papers together. So if you like to collect ideas for maybe you're thinking to renovate a room or update paint colors, and you're like, oh, let me look at the ideas, and you're getting swatches and stuff, that's where it can go. Then you paint the house, take the swatches, discard, recycle, and start with a new file folder. So this may be something you want to try. If you don't have a like that, I'm not here to say go out and buy a bunch of stuff. In fact, January is the month where all you see is flyers and advertisements. And if you walk through a store, it's all the stuff about buy bins and boxes and containers to get organized for the new year. And I'm here to tell you that the bins and boxes and containers aren't really going to help us. It's the habit, right? It's the habit of putting things back where they belong when we're finished with them. And it doesn't really matter if your container is a fabric or it's just a regular box. So please don't buy anything new, with the exception of a desktop file box if you think you want to use it. But shop at home first, because there's a really good chance you have one. A lot of us picked up this plastic file box with a lid and a handle. I guess in case we're taking our files on vacation. I don't know where we're going with our files in this box, but it's a great little box to tote around. A lot of us have picked one up, but we may not be using it or using it effectively. So that box is the same thing, but I'll say, keep the lid up if your box has a lid, because on a very busy day, you're going to put papers on the lid and then you're never going to open the box again. And as you might imagine, papers in and papers out. Because if all you do is put papers in, you're going to email me in a couple of weeks and be like, Jamie, it's going great. I just bought my 8th box. I think it's a wonderful idea. So the idea is one box per family. And so you could think about putting papers in and taking papers out every week. Just be sure your labels are current and no one file is too thick. So if you maybe are going to be doing some donating of goods as you go through the rest of the year, again, keeping those receipts for tax purposes can be really helpful. But where do they go? In a file. So that is the desktop file box. And I wanted to start us off there because paper is often the #1 question. And it seems like a lot of us are challenged when it comes to paper. So I definitely wanted to share that with you, but we're going to be moving into all the other areas of your home. Before we take on any organizing project, I would just love for you to have a few tools ready to go. And this means that when inspiration strikes and you're feeling ready to go, you don't have to collect anything to get the project done. So as you might imagine, the very first thing is a bag, because my greatest hope is that as you're going through your home, not even room by room, but category by category, shelf by shelf, section by section, as you're doing that, my hope is you'll find some things to share. I mean, there's 37 of us here tonight because we have so much stuff we're not sure where to put it. I'm hoping there's a really good chance that we can share generously. We may sell or pass along or recycle responsibly. But if you have the bag ready to go to collect the items that are going out of your house that we're quote unquote tossing, then you don't have to go look for a bag. So we want a bag, and I'm going to invite you to clearly label it. And there's a really good reason for that. We want to clearly label the bag, okay? Because once you start filling a bag with stuff, well, here's the challenge. Oh, you start to wonder which bag is which. Is this the bag for donation, or is this the bag that I'm passing along to my sister? Is this the bag I'm giving to my neighbor, or is this the bag of stuff that needs to go to recycling? And when you don't know, then you have to look through the bag to figure out which bag it is. And then as you're looking through the bag, you go, wait a minute. How did this really cute plush toy get into my bag? Was I really thinking to donate this? Oh no, I must keep it. Now what's happening is you're shopping from your own donations, which I can assure you is the wrong direction. So under no circumstances do I want you to be tempted to look through the bag, which is why I'm inviting you to clearly label the bag. I'm going to have a brand new definition for the word cute for you in just a little while. I'm also going to share with you how to appraise things like collectibles in case that's also a challenge for some of the pieces in your home. So we have a bag. I also would love for you to have a timer. And this, I think, is my secret sauce. It's something I talk about in Keep This, Toss That, which this is my newest book, and it's written in list format. Super easy to follow. You don't even have to read text cover to cover. It's just checklists, which is amazing. And the whole concept is built on setting a timer for just 10 minutes. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the stuff in your home and you're wondering, what can I do? I'm going to invite you to work for 10 minutes. And now you're thinking, why did I log on to this program? Jamie does not understand my problem. 10 minutes? I can't get my car in the garage. There's no way 10 minutes is going to help me get my car in the garage. How can I go through my clothes closet or that back room or an attic, a basement, or even the whole kitchen in 10 minutes? And I agree with you. You can't, but we can do a little something, and all the consistent small blocks of time add up to huge results faster than you may imagine. So I'm inviting you to set a timer for 10 minutes a day, adjust accordingly. If your schedule doesn't allow for that, or you have a little more time, go for it. But I'm saying 10 minutes. And because let's say you have 10 minutes, you know what? I think I could go for 20. Let me set it for 20. Now you may struggle to reach 20, but if you set it for 10 and then reset it for 10, you've doubled your goal. So I like a 10-minute block of time. You'll choose accordingly. It gives you a starting point. It gives you an ending point. The buzzer goes off, you're done. Even if your project's not finished, you're done for now. You can continue on or step away, come back another day. It also gives us a deadline, right? We've got a timer that's going to go off. So set an alarm on your phone as a reminder. You're doing this once a day. So hopefully I've convinced you to try 10 minutes. We're going to have an opportunity to do a little jumpstart together. And I think you're really going to love this timed moment. It turns the boring chore of decluttering into a challenge. It's like a game show, right? The buzzer's going, what am I going to find? Maybe you'll find money. So it'll be like prizes on a game show. It's like so much fun. All right, so bag, timer, one more thing. And that is just a little refreshment. Maybe a bottle of water and a little trail mix. Because remember, I've just invited you to set a timer and work for a whole 10 minutes. I can't run the risk of you getting a little thirsty, wanting to go to the kitchen for a sip of water. I think we all know if you leave to go to the kitchen, you're never, ever coming back. So I can't have you going anywhere. Plus, let's say you're brave enough to try walking into a walk-in closet to start organizing it. If you can't find your way out, you'll have provisions. So it's all going to be wonderful. So I'd love for you to have your bag, your timer, your water bottle, and we're ready to go. So when we're ready to go, where do we start? I mean, there's so many choices, right? If I asked you to tell me where are you thinking to organize for this new year, you'd probably have a pretty long list, or at least 3 things. And you're like, well, which one do I choose? I'm going to invite you to begin with your bag and your timer for 10 minutes in the linen closet. The linen closet, where you're going to find towels and sets of sheets and the regular rags, the really grubby rags, and then the really good rags that we're saving for like a really good spill. I don't know what we're doing, but there's a large collection of linens here. We have 10 minutes, not enough time to pull everything out of the linen closet, but plenty of time to do one show. And so as we're adding our linens that have seen better days or that we just don't need to our bag, you may be wondering, well, who could use these? The local humane society or pet shelter. That's exactly who needs them. The volunteers, they're cleaning all the time. It's cold in the cages. The puppies and kitties are going to curl up in your linens. It doesn't matter what they look like. So we can send them along. So now you're thinking, Jamie, that's great. I can do it. I can set a timer for 10 minutes. I can find some linens. I can fill a bag. I can put the bag in the trunk of my car. And then I'm going to drive around with the bag in the trunk of my car for the next 8 months because I know I'm going to forget to drop off the bag. I think we've all done that. So my invitation to you is to create a deadline. Creating a deadline is going to help us get things done, especially if we tend to procrastinate. So a deadline could look like calling the organization and saying, hello, I'm coming and I'm dropping this off on Monday. I don't know that they really care which day you come, but by you saying I'm coming on Monday, you're going to follow through on that. You don't want to disappoint them. So there's your deadline. You have an appointment. Alternatively, if it wasn't linens, but let's say it was just about anything else, you could schedule a pickup with an organization. Again, there's your deadline. You know they're coming. You're going to make a bag. If you're wondering who can pick up, You may have an organization in mind already, but I'm going to give you two websites that might really be helpful. The very first one is donationtown.org, www.donationtown, like city, TOWN, and that's a .org, not a .com. When you log on, all you have to do is put in your zip code. Onto the screen will come a list of nationally recognized organizations you're going to know. Big Brothers and Sisters, the veterans. You're going to know the Purple Heart Funds. You're going to know Habitat for Humanity Restore, and you can schedule your pickup based on who's coming when and what they're picking up. The second one is gogreendrop.com. Go, G-O, green, the color green, drop like raindrop, gogreendrop.com. Now, again, you can schedule a pickup with them, but I will let you know that gogreendrop.com is a little special because they will pick up at a storage unit, and most organizations are not insured to do that. So gogreendrop.com will pick up at a storage unit. So if you're trying to downsize a storage unit for the new year, save the money, pare it down, or just downsize to a smaller one. Also, gogreendrop.com has a concierge service. You can reach them by emailing concierge@gogreendrop.com. concierge@gogreendrop.com. Now, this is a concierge service that's free. And of course, you have to feel comfortable because they'll probably be coming in your home. But for larger items or like large quantities of items, you inherited a home, you're moving, you're completely making things over, you're truly downsizing to like almost minimal, and you've got a lot of stuff for big things, then gogreendrop.com may be useful. We only have an hour, so I don't have time to just run down a list of organizations that might be helpful for you. I'd love to get to more content of our program, but I will let you know if you're looking for something super specific, pianos, sewing machines, medical equipment, just about anything else, please visit jmeetnovak.com. Under the More tab is a resources tab, and there's an alphabetized list of all the places you can share things. So if you're ever stuck for what to do with something, and one of the resources I gave you is not helpful or doesn't take what you have, please check there, and there's a full list for you. Before we move on from where I invited you to start, which was the linen closet, I will just mention books, because textbooks, encyclopedias, travel guides, almanacs, all the books that even if our wonderful library is having a book sale, they don't want your textbook from like 1948. They also don't want out-of-date travel guides, and they certainly don't want an entire set of encyclopedia or four. So betterworldbooks.com, better, B-E-T-T-E-R, Better World Books with an S, books, betterworldbooks.com. Down at the bottom, it says find a location, put in your zip code, and hopefully there's a drop box nearby and you can bring your books. So that is betterworldbooks.com. So we have begun our decluttering journey in the linen closet, where hopefully you're not too sentimentally attached to all the linens. So it really gets us started on, okay, this is doable. I did a little something. It's not a whole room. It's not the whole house. It's one closet. You're probably going to find sets of sheets for a twin extra long bed, often used in a university setting. Your children, turning 52, I think it's time we can let it go. So we're going to pass on some of those linens now, and we have a place to do it. So our bag is full, out the door, have a deadline, and we're moving on. After we tackle that linen closet, where might we go next? And I'm going to suggest the bathroom. Often overlooked when it comes to decluttering, but it's usually where you start your day and oftentimes where you may end your day. So starting and ending on an organized note is a great way to go. And it's, again, usually a smaller space. It's also a space that when you put your mind to it and you set a timer for 10 minutes, you can see big results quickly. So when's the last time you went through your medicine chest? This would be a great time to do it. When's the last time we looked at all the makeup, the razors, the spa products? Do you have tweezers that don't tweeze, clippers that don't clip? Did you crimp your hair years ago and you haven't crimped your hair since? Anyone have those pink foam like curlers? Maybe they're starting to deteriorate. The foam's not quite what it used to be. So now's the time. So just take a look through the bathroom very quickly. You can probably find a bunch of things that some you're just going to have to discard. They're out of date. Band-Aids that are open, they're no longer sanitary, medication that's past its expiration date. A lot of police departments have safe drop boxes, and the DEA sponsors take back days in the spring. So you could certainly get started with that. But again, here in the bathroom, a lot of the decisions are made for us. What you'll notice, and it's a little difficult to see, but I'll try to show you the best I can. You see this icon here? It looks like a little open clamshell or a little compact that's open. Well, if you get out your magnifying glass or take a photo and enlarge the photo, what you'll see is that inside that little compact icon is usually 6M, 12M, or 24M. That lets you know 6 months, 12 months, 24 months before it expires. So it's a great way. A lot of these decisions are made for you, and you're probably going to find so many things go. Rusty bobby pins and elastics for our hair that have stretched out, and men's razors that we don't use anymore because we upgraded, but we kept the old one just in case. So there's all sorts of things, bath salts that are a big clump, something that you don't like the scent of, a cologne you're not wearing, whatever it is. So some things have to just be tossed, recycled responsibly, and you may find some things that you can donate from the bathroom. So take a look. I think the bathroom's the next best place to go. You might be brave enough and go under the sink if you have a vanity that has under the sink. Bring a flashlight, tell someone you're going. It's a little scary. Try the drawers and the shelves first, and then of course the top of the vanity as well. So we've now gone on to our bathroom. Probably bring a big bag because there's probably going to be a lot of things that you can take out of that bathroom space. And we'll move right in to the kitchen, the heart of the home, where we're spending so much time. And there's so many categories to go through. So again, not the whole kitchen. What are we doing? Setting a timer for 10 minutes. Let's take a peek in the freezer. Do we have any unidentified food objects, things wrapped in foil for way too long? Let's defrost them, see what we've got. No one knows, but it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're ever unsure if a food item is good, even past its best by date, you can check out Still Tasty, STILLTASTY, Still Tasty, and just type in what you have and they'll tell you based on how you stored it, consume it, not so much. And of course, our wonderful Vose library has so many cookbooks, and you know how much I love to clip out recipes. But knowing this next website has been really helpful in my eliminating some of my recipe collection. And that is the website where you can find all the recipes for chain restaurants across the country. So if you were traveling and you're like, how do they make those biscuits? What's in that salad dressing? Well, you may just find it at copycat.com. And cat is spelled with a K. Copy, C-O-P-Y, K-A-T, copycat. Copycat.com has those secret, those famous recipes for you. So that should be really helpful in paring down your recipe collection. So what if we were to set our timer and take a look at the refrigerator? Anything that was cheese and now is a semi-science experiment, that's always fun. Maybe 10 minutes going through our spices, the nutmeg that expired, the pumpkin pie spice that expired in June of 2016. Also, gotta go. Seen better days. See ya. And you're creating space. You're letting things go. Of course, if there's a food item that's still in date that you're not going to finish or use, then think of a food bank or a food pantry. And if there's anything you find that needs to be used up, then let's make a recipe around it. And if you tried the marinade, you opened it, you didn't love it, why are we keeping it if you're not going to finish it up? So we're looking for unused, unloved, half used, and we won't finish it up. Anyone want to set a timer and just attempt to open that drawer that you can't open without pushing things down? That's a fun drawer to get into, kind of like that kitchen junk drawer thing, or maybe the mashed potato masher's in the way. So we're going to push down that drawer, all the contents, and we're going to open the drawer and we're going to find silverware packets. We're going to find silverware packets from takeout restaurants, and some of them, I mean, they're deluxe silverware packets because they have salt and pepper. Now, I know we're all holding on to these, expecting a great silverware shortage to come, but I assure you, you have silverware, you can just wash it again. It's going to be fine. Food banks and food pantries often accept these. If you tend to eat on the go, you might want some in your car. If all you do is just stop bringing new ones home, that's a win. And just use up the ones you have, take them to maybe like an office setting where there's a little, gathering place for employees, little staff room, leave them, and just stop bringing them home. Of course, what goes along with the silverware packets? The condiment packets, all the mustards and the mayonnaise and the ketchup and the soy sauces and all the sauces. Listen, I assure you, you don't need all the teeny tiny ketchup packets. You have like 3 open bottles of ketchup in the cabinet. It's fine. It's going to be fine. So these, when they start to like flatten or pillow up, they're going bad. They don't last forever. You have to let them go. So just don't bring them home. Use up the ones you have, but please don't be the person that opens them all and squeezes them into the big bottle. Like, that's not a great use of your time. So it's going to be fine. Just stop bringing it home, sort out the drawer, try to figure out, this birthday candle that got a little warm in the back of the drawer. Can I melt it again and reshape it? I think we all know the answer. No one has ever successfully reshaped a birthday candle. So again, expert opinion, I'm just saying, let's let it go. The marker, the lid's been left off. You can't write with it. I know you want to dip it in like some water and see if you can revive it. Again, not going to happen. The promotional pens, the 202 promotional pens in the drawer, you can donate pens. We can ask Deborah. She might want pens for the library. I don't know. Let's ask. But I put them in a little Ziploc bag and I carry them with me. Cashiers, anyone at a restaurant, we're always walking off with their pens. It's like their birthday when you hand them a bag of pens, and you can donate pens. What you can't donate are all the rubber bands that have been in your drawer so long they've snapped on their own. And I know you're thinking, but Jamie, I could just tie a knot and use it again. It's still a good rubber band. Is it really? I think we know the answer. And probably you bought a box of like 2,000 rubber bands, which is more rubber bands than anyone could use in a lifetime. But then there's the really good rubber bands. These are the colorful, thick rubber bands. These come off of broccoli, asparagus. You know these rubber bands. Basically what happened is you bought produce, you got a free rubber band. You got a gift with purchase. You got a rubber band. So if you're like, Jamie, what could I do with these wonderful rubber bands? I'm so glad you asked. If you have a basic clothes hanger, and it's the kind where things slide off because it doesn't have the little dimple, just take a good rubber band, one onto either side of the hanger, and you have effectively made your own non-slip hangers. So as something's tempted to slide off and fall to the bottom of the closet, where I think we all know I just leave it until later, well, here's the thing, it's going to be caught by that rubber band. So how wonderful that if you commit to eating enough vegetables, like between now over the next week, by next weekend, you could be making your own set of non-slip hangers. I can't think of a better way to spend a weekend. I mean, it's so exciting. So when it comes to all of those hangers and all the rubber bands, let's just decide, keep these, toss these. These are broken. These have been in the drawer since I moved in, and I just have to let them go. So we are reclaiming our kitchen drawer 10 minutes at a time. Any loose change you find along the way, that's yours to keep. That's your gift. So just so you know, it's like a little jackpot you've hit. In the very back of the drawer or towards the back of a cabinet, you may find some paper goods that are themed for one very special day of the year. And of course, we spent money on them. They're still good. So we save them. We save them for a whole nother year, hoping 12 months from now, we'll know where we put them and we'll be able to find them. That is a tall order. Plus, you're taking up storage space all year round, and who even remembers? And I only have 2 Thanksgiving plates. I can invite 2 people to Thanksgiving. That's it. So I'm going to just give you a little secret. It's a behind the scenes secret to just coming close. I'm going to let you know. These special napkins and plates themed for one day of the year. Here we go. You ready? They work like a plate or a napkin any other day of the year. I've personally tested this for you because I just wanted to be sure. Let's just say some random Thursday in January. You put your breakfast on a Thanksgiving plate, it's going to hold it just fine. And it's not even going to taste any different. Like, things are meant to be used and loved and enjoyed. And if we're doing it right, we're using them up. But it's when we save them. Well, we might use them just in case. I used to use them. I might need them in the future. So basically, you're storing a bunch of stuff for a life you are not living. Making living today so difficult because everything you use is left out because there's no place to put it. So when it comes to things like this, just use them up. Have a like combination holiday, take them to a daycare, bring them to a staff room, just finish them up. You can always get more. So we're thinking kitchen. You've noticed that we've done 10-minute windows, spices, freezer. Oh, can we talk drinkware? How many water bottles? How many travel mugs? How many coffee mugs? If you have enough coffee mugs to open your own cafe like tomorrow morning, I think we know we've got to pare down, and we've got to pare down fast. So we're going to set that timer for 10 minutes. We're going to find the ones that aren't your favorite. We're going to find the water bottle that makes too much condensation. It's too tall. It's too small. It doesn't fit the cup holder of your car. It keeps it too hot. It keeps it too cold. You've lost the gasket. You don't like the way it dispenses. You can't get your hand in to clean it. Then you do manage to get your hand in to clean it. Now you can't get your hand out. You're going to the emergency room with a travel mug stuck to your hand because you insisted to keep the one you never loved anyway. You know the ones you love. If it dribbles when you drink, don't put it back. It's not going to get any better in the closet. So we want to pare down. And if you're ever unsure, you can use the guideline of, dare I say, 50%. Now that's a little too extreme. And you're like, wait a minute, I have 32 mugs. You want me to pare down? I don't know. I might need more than that. Then you adjust. But having a specific number can be a really great way of going in and seeing a result versus, I don't know, should I keep it? I'm not sure. If you're like, nope, I have 30, I need 15 out of here, then you know, and you know when you've reached a goal. So 50% is a great guideline. If that's a little too ruthless or some categories that's not going to work, adjust accordingly. But just imagine if you had half the stuff, how much space you'd have, how much time you'd have, how much energy you'd have to devote to things that are way more important than trying to get your hand unstuck from a water bottle that you were thinking to keep. So little by little, category by category, 10 minutes at a time. We're also going to address in 10 minutes, the catch-all. I think we all have one. I think we all have at least one. Am I alone? I don't think I'm alone. The catch-all, the basket, the bin, the container, the bowl, where we're like, oh, I'll just leave this here. It's decorative. And then all of a sudden we put a broken chip clip because why not? We might be the first person in history to actually fix a broken chip clip if we can find the other half and the spring. I don't know. You might make the Guinness book. I don't know. Ooh, sometimes when you go through the catch-all, you find chocolate. That's the best. So just eat the chocolate. That's the answer for that always. If the question is ever eat the chocolate, the answer is always yes. Then there's weird things, random things, peculiar things, things that you have no idea what they are. Is it a little form for making pancakes on a skillet or not? It's not. It is a heat diffuser to go between a glass tea kettle and a glass top stove. Here's a little tip. I don't have a glass top stove, and I don't even still have the tea kettle, but I have this because it's in its own little Ziploc pouch in the kitchen because I was like, oh, it must be important. It comes in a Ziploc pouch. No idea what it was. I should have written on it. Well, I shouldn't have even kept it in the first place. And I'm like, well, I have a gas stove. What if I change to electric and I still have the tea kettle? I'll need it. I won't need it because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. So if you have stuff like that, and honestly, who doesn't? It is time to tackle that drawer, get in there and do a little something. We talked about that cute ketchup pack, right? I mean, this one looks like a little bottle of ketchup, but it's just ketchup. We have to be brave. Just do it. Did I win the 50-50? I don't know. What 50-50 was it? It's got to be more than 2 years old. I don't think I won. They would have contacted me by now, don't you think? I mean, maybe I should keep it just in case. And then, of course, there's things like this. The last ticket stub I have from the last outing, the State Theater here. I'm in New Jersey, December 29th of 2019. It was a show, and it's one of my favorite shows. And here's the challenge. I am keeping the ticket, not for sentimental reasons so much as I loved the seats. I loved the row. I loved the seats. I could see everything. I had extra leg room. It was wonderful. So I want to remember if I ever go back, and I don't know when I might, but if I do, I want to remember I want these seats. So what do? Well, I mean, the answer is, of course, leave the ticket in a bowl until I go again, right? And then, of course, we're never going to know where this is. So I'm going to share with you what I do when I try to remember things like, I love this CD. Maybe you're thinking to pare down your CD collection or your book collection because you're saying to yourself, Can I get this easily elsewhere? Is this available to me elsewhere? The answer is probably yes. Our wonderful Vose library has it, right? Our books are there. There's so many things we can check out, and then they have to store it, which is wonderful. But the thing is, I want to remember I like the CDs. I want to remember I like the books. I want to remember I want to try that restaurant. I want to remember these day trip ideas. I want to remember the seat number that I loved. Enter the address book. Shop at home. I know you have one. We're going to take an address book. It's already tabbed A to Z. So we're just going to repurpose it. We're going to put in State Theater under S or T for tickets, the space that I loved. We are going to add in here, someone tells you a cleaning tip or a gardening tip under C or G. I'm giving you some donation resources under D for donate or decluttering or O for organizing. You can write it in your little book. All those little bits of information that you're trying to remember. So you're keeping the associated item, but you don't need the item except that it jogs your memory. You can put it in a little book, but then you have to remember where you put the book. Because if you lose the book, then there goes all your good information. So mine sits in the pantry. It's right next to the first box of cereal. And unless I move it or I'm showing it to you, there it sits. So hopefully that'll be really helpful as a place to collect all those bits of information, like the model number for the air conditioner filter that you replace once a year. Who knows? No one knows. Right there, model numbers or A for AC. Could we set a timer for 10 minutes and match our food storage containers? Lids to bases. That's a great way to spend 10 minutes. So can we match our bases to our containers? And then you realize, how did I get 100 of these? Probably because you bought the pack of 88 when it was on sale and you had a 20% off coupon. So here's the thing. We just want to pare down. Think of any area in your home. The prime real estate of storage is what you can reach easily without reaching up, without a step stool, without a flashlight. It's right there. That's where you put the stuff you use every day. Not all 88 containers, just the 2 you use every day to put leftovers away. Then the others relocate to a less convenient space. I'm not here to say get rid of them. I know you're going to need them eventually, which is why I have like 50 rinsed out soup containers because I'm going to use them. I know I am. But we just don't need them all out at once. So relocate them. Then you can shop your own stock. You can look at your own inventory and pull it out as you need it. So that would be a great idea for maybe spending 10 minutes. You'll decide. We're going to talk for just a moment about that dining area with some of the collectibles. I'm going to share with you my definition for the word cute. Of course, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk clothes for just a moment. Then we'll have an opportunity to do a little jumpstart together if you're feeling so inclined, totally optional. Then we'll wrap up, get to your questions. And my greatest hope is you're planning to set a timer for 10 minutes and you're going to get started. Is that the plan? I certainly hope so. Well, let's talk about that dining room space because I'm guessing you may have some special pieces. You may have a candy dish. This was my great grandma's candy dish and my grandma's candy dish. And it had like those ribbon candies that like really hurt the inside of your mouth, but they're so pretty. They sat here for years. And when we would go over, it's like, oh, can I have a candy? That's what sat here. And I remember it fondly. You may have sets of china and all sorts of special sparkly things. You may have collectibles and souvenirs, all the kinds of things that would be in like a curio cabinet or a side hutch or a china cabinet. And then you ask niece, grandson, daughter-in-law, who wants the candy dish? No one wants the candy dish. And it doesn't feel very good to have your items that you have a special appreciation for be rejected. No one wants it. They don't have that same connection. So if that's happened to you, here's the solution. First of all, capture the story, because without the story, it's just a candy dish. It's just a candlestick. It's just an everyday item. So capture the story. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't have to write it in calligraphy on parchment paper. It doesn't have to be 2 pages long. Just a little sticky note, a little index card, the who, what, when, where, why that makes it special. Then think of who you'd like to be the new caretaker of this item. Take a look at your calendar, figure out when their birthday is. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to get out some tissue paper. We're going to smooth that tissue paper out one more time. We're going to look at our bow collection. Now, don't use the flat bow that you have to double stick on and try to fluff up. I think this bow has to go. We're going to get a good bow. Okay, we're going to get a good bow. Then we're going to put this bow right on it. We can drop this off on their doorstep. We can mail it to them. And then when they're on the phone with you, maybe on video, they're going to say, wow, the candy dish. Wow, you gave me the candy dish. Now, here's the rule with gifts. Once the person opens it, like the recipient opens the gift, there's no give back. Like they can't return it, like it's theirs. So that is a great tip. Now, some families are going to think that's a whole lot funnier than others. If it goes well, take credit. If it doesn't go well, just blame me. But you can try to pass along some of the key items. No one wants to inherit a whole house that they have to go through. It's just all too much. But when you start to edit down to just a few key pieces that have a great story behind them, and you capture the story, it's a game changer. Growing up in our family, I have 3 younger sisters, and my mom would tell the whole family the story of this little tin cup that sat in our china cabinet. And it was just this little tin cup. The handle was falling off. It was obviously homemade and it had a couple dents, not even any numbers or anything. And she would tell us that in our farmstead in Kansas, Great Aunt Mary Frances would use that little tin cup to know how to bake. You know, dent 1 is buttermilk, dent 2 is flour, and that's how she would make her dishes. So that little tin cup made its way through the generations into my mom's china cabinet. And she would tell us the story over and over again. Well, as the 4 of us were moving out, she came to us and said, which one of my daughters is going to be lucky enough to get this little tin cup? And I think we all know none of us wanted it. And I think it really hurt her feelings because we didn't have that same appreciation for it that she did. And back into the china cabinet it went, where she continued to tell us the story over and over again. Well, Mom's no longer here, and we'd give anything to hear that story one more time. We didn't think to record it or write it down. And as many times as we heard it, there's still pieces of it that were missing. As her items were being distributed, no one wanted the set of china, although I took a teacup, my sister took 2 place settings, my other sister took the soup tureen. No one wanted all the other sparkly things that no one really knew much about them. I've got the candy dish, and now all 4 daughters wanted that little tin cup. So we rotate, and on New Year's Eve, it passes to the next sister, and we have a place in our house, and we tell the kids the story, and they're probably like, I can't believe she's telling the story of the tin cup again. Then we're going to ask them who wants the tin cup. No one's going to want it. Then hopefully everyone will want it. And that's how one special piece will make its way. But it's not everything from the cabinet. So capture the story. That's the most important piece. You can absolutely donate the items. You can share the items. You can share the items with someone outside the family tree. And if you had some special pieces that really have meaning to you, but there's not enough people in the family to appreciate them, think of earmarking the items. Keep a little inventory list with your sensitive and personal documents. And sometime down the road, when just like Mom, no longer here to tell the story, maybe at a little service, those items will be out and everyone that comes to pay their respects will get to take a little piece of something that was special to you. And those items will travel the world and you'll just never know where they'll end up, but it'll be with someone who really cares about them. So that might be something else we could consider doing with them. But what if it's the $1 million candy dish? What if it's the $1,000 Beanie Baby? Well, I don't know. And we don't want to be the one to give it away. So we can do a little research, of course, at our wonderful Vose library. We can log on. We can look at all the books to look stuff up. But if you're like, listen, it's late, I just want to look something up online from home, here's how we'll do it. If it's books and you want to see value of books, you can look it up at biblio.com. B-I-B-L-I-O, Biblio. Biblio.com, totally free. It's just a search engine, type it in. There's a database, hopefully your book's there, and it'll give you a sense of, yep, this is something. For anything else, collectibles, coins, cards, dolls, figurines, all of it, you can search goantiques.com, go, G-O, antiques with an S, goantiques.com. And again, hopefully it's in the database. Just put in descriptors or the actual information, and hopefully it comes back and you find out, listen, its state may have monetary value, but if it's sentimental, you may not be selling it. If you're thinking to sell it, you could sell things at Mercari, M-E-R-C-A-R-I, Mercari, M-E-R-C-A-R-I. Now listen, you learned Zoom, so I have the utmost confidence that Mercari, I think, is actually easier than Zoom. In good lighting, take a picture, list the item, and the buyer pays the shipping. You will have to link your bank account, and if that makes you uncomfortable, maybe you can open a second bank account where there's no minimum, no fee, And then you can link that account. So you're not linking your like account with your budget money in it. These are reputable companies, but you just never know. And if you had a better feeling about linking a second account, you certainly could. That's how you'll get paid. And they take a flat rate if it's under a certain fee. And most of the resources I'm sharing with you for selling don't take more than 20%. If it was collecting dust anyway, giving away 20% for them doing all the marketing, I think might be pretty good. So Mercari, M-E-R-C-A-R-I. Now, if you have electronics, and honestly, who doesn't? Cords, cables, adapters. Can we make one box so they can all be friends in a box? I mean, you put them in, they're not tangled, take them out, they're going to be tangled. I can't explain it, but it's just what happens. But just group like with like, so you can always find what you're looking for. So give yourself one container. If you want to label them, what if you take the little tab that comes off of a bag of bread or potatoes, bagels, and you're just going to take that tab, snap it right over the cord, and now we can label the cord with a permanent marker. So my cell phone, GPS, digital camera, or just unknown, because most of these cables will be unknown. You know when you'll know what they go to? The minute you decide to recycle them. You'll be like, that's what that went to. So keep them in a box, keep them safe, and you can always shop from your own inventory of cables and cords. We're going to talk clothes for just a moment. We're going to have an opportunity to do a teeny tiny jump start together. And then hopefully you're going to take this and continue on. If you have costume jewelry, most consignment shops will buy it outright. But again, I shared with you Mercari, which may be an option. If you have vintage pieces or handmade pieces or broken costume jewelry, you might list it at Etsy, E-T-S-Y, Etsy.com. This is the website for crafters, and they will take your things and repurpose them. So even if it's broken, they might be very interested. Also on Etsy, you can find crafters that will take clothing, special clothing, and turn it into a bear or a bunny or a pillow or a placemat or a quilt. So I'm not suggesting that you take sentimental clothes and then turn it into a quilt, especially if you don't know how to quilt. So you'd have to take a quilting class first. But I am saying you can hire someone at Etsy. So that's E-T-S-Y. So we're just going to go through our clothing. Again, this is not a big makeover of our closet. An easy thing you can do, and this is not my original idea, but it's floating around the internet, so I want to share. Clothing hangers, everything pointing in one direction has not been worn. As you wear, wash, and return something to the closet over the winter season, reverse the hanger. At the end of a season, you'll see what you wore versus what you didn't. And you can look at the hangers in the reverse position first. And it might be easier to make a decision about some of those pieces. So when it comes to clothing, if there's anything you'd like to sell, men's suits, ties, accessories, handbags, footwear, all that stuff, you can try Poshmark, P-O-S-H-M-A-R-K, Poshmark. And again, just take a picture, put a price, and hopefully you get a buyer. Then you pack it up, mail it off, and you get paid. It is so simple, and people report amazing results with it. So we can sell our clothing Poshmark. We can sell just about anything Mercari. And if you have electronics that need to simply be recycled, Best Buy and Staples are both drop points for electronics that need to be recycled. So they will take those. And if you have shoes from your closet that you want to give away, Souls for Souls collects shoes. DSW Shoe Warehouse is a collection point for Souls for Souls. That's DSW Shoe Warehouse. So my greatest hope is you're feeling inspired to get started. And if you are, I'm going to invite you to join me for a teeny tiny jump start. Leave our program running. Don't touch anything because it's working well. Step away. I'm going to invite you to go to the kitchen. We're going to be super brave and we're going to open the gadget and utensil drawer. We're looking for crab crackers, but you never cook crab. We're looking for nut picks, but you never have fresh nuts. We're looking for a cracked wooden spoon, a melted spatula, a garlic press you don't know how to operate. I'll take anything. We just want to get a jump start. We're going to do this. We're just going to take 2 minutes. Walk carefully to the kitchen. It's not a race. You don't get a trophy. The trophy would be more clutter. 2 minutes on our timer. Let's see what you can come back with. We're going to begin our tidy up in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Our timer's ticking and you are finding something you no longer need from that kitchen drawer you can't open. If you don't choose to join us for the Jumpstart, stay seated, enjoy the rest of the program, and we'll be coming back in 1 minute and 45 seconds. When we come back, we'll open up for all of your questions, and then hopefully you're gonna set a timer and do a little more. So 1 minute and 30 seconds left, 1 minute and 30 seconds left on our timer. If you're not able to get up and go to the kitchen right now, but you'd still like to participate, you can do a little digital decluttering. Think of deleting an email, a photo from your phone, a download from your phone that takes up a tremendous amount of storage, or a text message you no longer need. Let's see what everyone is finding as they're going to be coming back. If you're already back and want to tell us what you found, you'd be welcome to show it on camera, or you can put it in the chat. Lobster, okay, is that some sort of a whisk? And lobster claws. Okay, that's a first. I have never had anyone come back with actual lobster. I mean, I guess it makes sense for Maine. I'm kind of loving it. So here's what we do. Amy, we're gonna make some tough choices. We're gonna decide, keep, toss, donate, recycle, you choose, but the goal is don't put them back into the drawer. Junia, are those cards? What are coasters? What do we have? I mean, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. You guys are the best. Thanks for playing along. So tell us in the chat if you'd like to, or during the Q&A, we'd love to hear more. Courtney has, is it a baster? Does it work? Or do you have 17 of them?
The rubber is cracked.
Well, I mean, why not?
Yeah, really.
I love it. Courtney, excellent find. Great choice. Kristen is back with, oh, wait, that's our time, everyone. So come on back. Great reason to set a timer. You can't get distracted. It keeps you focused. Kristen, what do we have?
They're wine stoppers, and I don't drink wine.
Well, okay, now here's where someone that does drink wine is going to be like, Kristen, can you send me those? Don't say that. That's the wrong direction. Kristen, excellent choice. We're donating them out the door. I love it. Oh, this is so good. You guys are so much fun. Thanks again for playing along. Junia, let's see what we have. Can you unmute if you want to tell us? Totally optional, but we'd love to see.
Those are, I think they're called koozies, and you put them over a beer can.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And you-
promotional koozies.
And you collect them wherever you go.
Wherever you go, you will get more. I love it. And that is absolutely a donatable item. So well done. Oh, you guys are awesome. This is, see, that was just 2 minutes. Imagine if you did that for 10 once a day, what would change? Susan's asking, where can we donate trophies? Donationtown.org, gogreendrop.com. Take a picture first. If it's something super special, if it's something cute, and remember, I owe you that definition for the word cute. Before I do, we have a few more show and tells. Here we go. Yeah, are those forks for the barbecue? What am I looking at? I've got to know. This is amazing. You guys are the best. So if you'd like to unmute, we'd love to see what you've got.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, this one is some kind of an antique fork. I'll never use it, but it's so different and interesting. I think I'm going to keep it. But these skewers, is that what you call them? I don't even have a barbecue, and I'll never use them.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so great. You're so honest. I love what you found. And you mentioned like an antique, it might be sentimental. I have the pasta strainer that my mom used. I just have it hanging. I'm not going to use it, but it's special. So sometimes taking a photo of the item lets you keep the memory without keeping all the stuff. And so it allows you to let go of things, knowing that the memory, you know, when you see the picture, it all comes flooding back. Or keep the item, but display it. It doesn't need to be in the drawer. Antique forks are awesome. I owe you the definition for the word cute as we wrap up our time together. I can't thank you enough for joining us. Deborah, to the Vose Library, what a treat this has been. I certainly hope you're logging off feeling a little more positive. If you felt overwhelmed in the beginning, now you have a strategy. So this is a delight. Let me give you that definition for the word cute. C-U-T-E, cute. Think of it as an acronym. And here's what I think it stands for. Can't use this ever. Can't use this ever. It's basically an adorable dust collector. So I'm going to suggest that if it's something super cute and you say, but it brings me joy, it makes me smile, create space, put it out, you get to keep it. If it's just one more cute thing, we're taking a picture. And my hope is that going forward, if you're like, oh, that's so cute, I have to bring it home, you're going to resist bringing it home because you're going to hear me saying, can't use this ever. As a final thought, for those of you that are still maybe a little stumped about where to begin, I'm going to invite you to set a timer for, you guessed it, 10 minutes. And I'm going to invite you to begin with the bag collection. All of the brown paper bags. And I think we have a lot of them. We may also have quite a stash of the plastic shopping bags. It's usually a plastic shopping bag filled with other empty plastic shopping bags. I mean, that's only the right way to do it. Then there's all the other bags. There's the reusable bags. There's the recyclable bags, the canvas bags. Maybe you picked them up at the last conference that you went to. There's all of the regular shopping bags. Then in the secret bag collection, there's the good shopping bags. They have a ribbon or a rope as a handle. I don't care what organization you're supporting and how much you care about them. There's no way you're putting your donations in a good shopping bag and giving it away. You're going to give them any one of the other shopping bags. And I can't be the only one with the clear zipper bag. You bought curtains, you bought a comforter, you bought linens, you got a clear zipper bag. I mean, it was free, gift with purchase. What's not to love? If you're a crafter, if you travel, it's great to store stuff. And my final tip as we wrap up our time together, and thanks so much for joining us. Deborah, thank you for having me. The final tip is, if none of this goes well, you don't find success in setting a timer, here's your alternative solution. Find a gift bag, slide all the clutter in the gift bag, fluff up a little tissue, put this bag behind you. Everyone's going to think it's a gift that you're giving. No one's going to know you're disguising your clutter in plain sight. So that's our final idea as we wrap up our time together. It was such a delight. I sure hope we get to do a part 2 one day. Deborah, it was really a delight. You made it all so easy for not only me, but everyone to log on. Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Jamie. I'm hoping you're seeing the information in the chat. People have really enjoyed this evening as I have, and the humor really, really helps with some of our issues and concerns that we have to tidy up. I can't wait to fix my hangers. Thanks for the rubber band suggestion. So thank you, everybody. This concludes our presentation for this evening. All of us at Vose Library, thank you for joining us and our series. And we hope that you'll spread the word and also join us next Wednesday, February 2nd, when outdoorsman Carrie Michael Kish, also known as Bear Man, shares his adventures from the Appalachian Trail. So thank you, everybody. Stay well. Good night.
Good night.